What is going on, guys? Robert Greenblatt here again. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk a little bit about trusts. Not about whether or not you trust me or trust your real estate agent, but trusts in general from a legal standpoint. What does that mean and how does that kind of connect to real estate? So if you haven't done so already, please like this video, please subscribe. It will really help me grow this channel. Now we begin. So trusts, a few months ago, and this came about, guys, because I've had a couple of recent transactions. So the first one was a few months ago, I sold a house for a person, and I had learned that a few years before her spouse had died, and shortly thereafter, they had put this property in a trust. So we sold that property. And then even more recently, I put a property on the market to sell, elderly woman. She had lost her spouse many years ago, and in the process of selling this house, the adult children that were helping me with this transaction were working closely with an attorney and having this property also put into a trust before closing. So at closing, there were actually two deeds recorded, just a separate note. First, it went into the trust. First, it went from her individual name to the trust, and then from the trust to our new buyer. So footnote to this whole thing, I am not an attorney, I am not an expert on trusts, but I did do some research on this because I wanted to learn a little bit more about what this means, why people do this. I do not know the exact legal reasons why these two examples, they did that. However, I did some research. Here's some of my printouts, and two things kind of came to mind here or jumped off the papers at me, and I wanted to share this with you guys real quick. One very important thing about trusts is it keeps your affairs private. What does that mean? A lot of us didn't know this or don't know this, that a will is a matter of public record. Real estate transactions are public record as well, but I had no idea that a will actually is public record. So what can happen is legally anyone can request, I think anyone can request a copy of a will and read it and understand what is going on with that particular estate. I found that actually fascinating. I didn't know this. So that's why, according to this article and this other research, a lot of people keep their wills fairly generic, and then they put much more detail into the trusts because the trusts are not public record. They are held very, very close. So I thought that was really fascinating. And another thing that I came across that I thought was really fascinating was that irrevocable trusts provide protection from estate taxes. So depending on where you live and what taxes that may be due on that estate, I'm not an attorney, but somehow there is protection there from estate taxes. Revocable trusts are living trusts and they are very flexible. However, irrevocable trusts are permanent. So just to give you an idea, a revocable trust is also called a living trust, and it can be altered and changed at any time. You can add or move assets, trustees change the conditions. However, an irrevocable trust is pretty much what it sounds like. It's irrevocable. It's a contractual arrangement where you place property permanently based on predefined conditions of access. You can't change it afterwards, but it does shield a property from estate taxes in the event of a person's death because you don't control the property inside an irrevocable trust beyond the initial terms. So I don't know why those two particular clients that just happened to be very recent did this. However, I found it really interesting that they were very close together. They were both elderly. And when I started to do my research, finding out that wills are public information, I had no idea. And the difference between an irrevocable and a revocable trust, I found pretty interesting as well. Anyway, if this is interesting to you, please do two things. One, consult an attorney for more information. And two, please subscribe and please hit like. Thanks again, Robert Greenblatt here.